I've had nothing but trouble with my old anchor windlasses, using the plastic, even epoxying them, super gluing them onto these stock spools, trying to build a big enough reel to handle 25 feet of chains, 25 feet now. So I even tried to screw these on. The problem is that on the back side of the servo, there's not enough room. So I decided I'd just get the plastic. I went to some heavy gauge aluminum. They are actually lighter than the plastic. About the same. So with two spools, there's that one mounted up, and 25 feet of chain on each anchor. It weighs just under 2 pounds. So what I've done, I don't know if I can get the light here. Okay, so I drilled and tapped the inside. I can't really get in there. I drilled and tapped both the disc and the spool, threaded a bolt in, then ground off the ends and super glued them in place. I don't have any Loctite, but super glue works too. And then super glued this stuff together. Surprisingly, the super glue bonds better aluminum to aluminum than it does plastic to aluminum, which I wouldn't have expected. But I could just fit 25 feet onto these spools. If I have to, I can go about a 1/4 inch larger in diameter, but that problem is, these are plenty strong enough. They're not going to break. My bitter ends are locked in, and I have gone to the safe extra step of putting a chain stop in. So on this one, you're not be able to see it. So this anchor, this chain here, there's still about 1.5 feet of chain, or maybe a foot of chain on the spool in there, but it can't go anywhere. So unless this chain breaks, which it's heavy stainless steel, it shouldn't. Even if the spool breaks again, which again it shouldn't, it's heavy gauge aluminum now. But if something breaks, unless it breaks outboard of the chain stopper, which is this ring that is too big to come up through the chain scupper, okay, I shouldn't lose another anchor, because I went back to England, UK, and bought another pair of these anchors. So now I have a spare because I lost one. There's the box right there with the spare anchor. I might put that on the ship somewhere just for the fun of it. But yeah, so that was $30 for the chain, or for the anchors, plus another $50 for 25 feet of chain. So what is that? So $65 per anchor system, just for the chain and anchor. So yeah, I'd really rather not do that again if I can help it. But now I just got to see if my transmitter, which I accidentally got it wet, if my transmitter will survive, whether or not these switches still work, because they were glitching so bad I had to unplug them. I couldn't even shut them off in here. It didn't matter, it was still transmitting a signal, so I had to shut them off, or unplug them. The additional upgrade here is I've got cameras now, front and rear. Got one back here pointed out over the aft deck. This is just sitting there, it's not where it lives. All right. Got one up here looking out the front now, and I got another one in the back pointed out over the rear deck. Plus I got a camera on my kayak now. So there'd be 3 different views of all of this. As long as I'm not in wild weather, I've got the cameras plugged in. If I get into nasty weather, I could unplug them, screw the caps on, and they're watertight. So we'll see what we come up with as far as our next run. But that's what's been taking me so long, is being able to afford all of the upgrades and repairs.